A Mustang is driving along the Windy Gabot Trail in Cape Breton for 25 minutes. The Mustang's initial velocity is 98 kilometers per hour, west 26 degrees to the south, and its final velocity is 110 kilometers per hour, east 50 degrees to the south. Calculate the acceleration of the Mustang in kilometers per hour squared. For this question, we are given the time of 25 minutes, but we cannot use this unit in our equations, so we have to convert this to hours. To do this, we take 25 and divide it by 60, and we get 0.417 of an hour. Our initial velocity is 98 kilometers per hour, west 26 degrees to the south, and our final velocity is 110 kilometers per hour, east 50 degrees to the south. We must calculate the acceleration. For the first triangle, we need to find the x and y vectors. For the y vector, we need to use the equation sine theta opposite over hypotenuse. Since we are missing the opposite value, we need to times the hypotenuse value, which is 98 kilometers per hour, by sine 26 degrees. And we will get 43 kilometers south, and this will be our y value. And for the x vector, we need to use the equation cosine theta adjacent over hypotenuse. But since we are missing the adjacent value, we need to times the hypotenuse value, which is 98 kilometers per hour, by cosine 26 degrees, to get 88.10 kilometers to the west, and this will be our x value. For the second triangle, we need to find the x and y vectors. For the y vector, we need to use the equation sine theta opposite over hypotenuse. Since we are missing the opposite value, we need to times the hypotenuse value, which is 110 kilometers per hour, by sine 50 degrees. And we will get 84.30 kilometers to the south, and this will be our y value. For the x vector, we need to use the equation cosine theta adjacent over hypotenuse. But also, since we are missing the adjacent value, we need to times the hypotenuse value, which is 110 kilometers per hour, by cosine 50 degrees. And we will get 70.7 kilometers east, and this will be our x value. To figure out the final velocity for the x and y vectors, you have to use the equation velocity equals velocity 2 minus initial velocity. For the x value, you have to go 70.7 subtract a negative 88.10. The 88.10 is negative because it goes in the west direction. And you'll get an answer of 158.7 kilometers per hour to the east. For the y value, you have to go negative 84.30 subtract a negative 43. These values are both negative because they both go in the south. And you'll get an answer of 41.3 kilometers per hour to the south. With these values, you can now make a triangle and find the hypotenuse. In order to find the hypotenuse, you have to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. For the Pythagorean theorem, you use c squared equals 158.70 squared plus 41.3 squared. You'll get an answer of 163.98. But because of sig figs, you must round it up to 164 kilometers per hour. For the angle for this triangle, you must use tan theta 41.3 divided by 158.70. And you'll get an answer of 14.6 degrees. So the total answer for your hypotenuse is 164 kilometers per hour, east, 14.6 degrees to the south. Since we are trying to find the acceleration, we have to use the equation acceleration equals velocity divided by time. You divide 164 kilometers per hour east, 14.6 degrees south, by 0.417 of an hour, and we will get an acceleration of 393.3 kilometers per hour squared, east 14.6 degrees to the south.